This Monday edition of Pucks Across Borders on Sports Addict Live and Total Apex Sports, brought to you by none other than First Round Collectibles. With our promo code Sports Addict, you get 10% off whatever sports card your heart desires. What's your sport? Hockey, football, basketball, baseball, maybe wrestling, maybe even boxing. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You can get it at firstroundcollectibles.com with our promo code 10% off. They still have sales up to 50% off. And with our promo code, not only do you get it off regular priced items, but sales items as well. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com today and find your heroes. That's the number one, STRoundcollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Yeah, oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, can't relax. Original, I am not the same as these cats.
Good morning and happy Monday. We are back on Pucks Across Borders, live on Sports Addict Live and Total Apex Sports. Good to be with you. I am Mark Sauter. Lots to get into from once again, crazy weekend in the NHL. Playoff races are crazy. Potential conference matchups, potential Stanley Cup finals, everything. It's going crazy in the NHL. But before we get into all of that, plus breakdown of both games tonight and our best bets, as always, at the top of your screen next to me, you read his work about football on Gridiron Heroics. You read his work on Winners and Whiners. You see him on Total Apex Sports, especially this time of year, talking about everything. College, professional, doesn't matter. Andre covers it. Andre, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing pretty well. Pretty well for a Monday, at least. Ready to get going. Really busy weekend. Really exciting weekend. And I'm ready to follow it up. So.
Absolutely. And at the bottom of your screen, you read his work about the NFL on Gridiron Heroics. John, how you feeling on the Monday, bro?
I think I'm definitely operating like it's a Monday. Just getting back into the groove of things. Got a lot of hockey from over the weekend and maybe a small slate tonight, but things are really heating up overall in the league.
Well, both games are really important, man, right? You got two Western Conference teams who are most likely out of it, but hope is still alive, and two Eastern Conference teams where hope is definitely still alive. But before we get into all that, let's just get right into it. Takeaways. Andre, we'll start with you, man. What was your takeaway from the NHL this past weekend?
You know, a lot of things happened over the weekend. But the Tampa Bay Lightning, I guess not just from this weekend, but dipping into last week a little bit, on a pretty impressive run. It's only a 3-game winning streak, but 7-0 against the Flyers during the week, 6-3 against the Rangers during the week. And then on Saturday in Sunrise, took a 4-0 lead against the Panthers, held on to win 5-3. Those are three playoff teams that they scored 5+ goals on. Three teams really good at keeping the puck out the net, too, when you're looking at how they succeed. And then they held the Rangers and the Panthers to 3 goals. That's it's not very easy, especially with the way both teams have been rolling lately. So kudos to them when a lot of the East is, I guess I'll say the East fringe teams are falling, flailing, whatever. The Lightning are rising and solidifying their case. So kudos to them. They look really impressive right now. Hopefully they don't keep it up by the time the playoffs roll around, but we'll see.
Yeah, maybe one of those teams that has had a hard time like solidifying their playoff status, right? When you have a team In the West, like Nashville, that seems pretty clear now that they're going to be in there. Tampa Bay's had a hard time doing that. Still not home free, but definitely in a much better position after the weekend. And if we remember, the last time that those two teams played on a Saturday, Florida destroyed them. I think 9-2 was the final. So huge comeback win for Tampa Bay. You're absolutely right. John, what about you, bro? What's your takeaway from the weekend?
We left off last week discussing the Eastern Conference playoff race in general, and I'm starting to bring up the crazy idea that there might be some more teams still alive than we want to admit. That I might backtrack a little bit on that after this weekend. I think a lot of teams, my Devils at least, lost both games over the weekend. The Arizona Coyotes actually appear to be coming out and winning some games now. Took an L from them. And the Islanders refused to win a game. They're not doing great. And I think the crazy thing is the Red Wings were on this crazy losing streak heading into the weekend, yet they arguably won the one game they really needed to win against the Sabres. And for now, it gives them a little cushion in the wild card standings. And this team that just doesn't want to go away, the Washington Capitals. I mean, we're talking about it before the show. Like, where the Capitals are literally right there. They're a point behind Detroit, and I think something crazy to think about is that they're 3 points back of Philadelphia with 2 games in hand. So this Capitals sneaking into the playoffs and, to quote Andre, win the Stanley Cup is getting a little more realistic by the day. So I think my takeaway is like the entire Eastern Conference playoff race in general.
Well, they have 1 game in hand on the Red Wings as well. And if they win tonight, they're in, man. Like, obviously not for good. There's a couple weeks left here. But if they win tonight, then they're officially in the playoffs. What we've all been I don't want to say dreading because that's a bit too dramatic, even for a Monday. But this is what we've been kind of waiting for, bracing for. And if they win tonight against Calgary, they're finally there. And I get what you're saying about the 1 game they needed to win, but listen, dude, Pittsburgh, now I think in general, Buffalo's playing much better than Pittsburgh is, and I like Buffalo's chances of winning themselves into the playoffs better than Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh has the same amount of points, right? They got 69 points too. So, yeah, it's really, really convoluted where I do feel like, we talked about this Friday, like you said, like just based on my eyes, I really did feel like the Devils and the Penguins specifically were much farther back than they actually are. But they're all right there, man. And I know 4 points, 5 points for some, 6 points is a decent amount. But you got 3 weeks left-ish, maybe 4 weeks left. I mean, a lot can happen. And also to add on to what you said, yeah, the Devils beat the Sabres. Yes. Then they promptly got their butts kicked by Pittsburgh the next night. 5-3 is a generous score compared to how that game actually went. So, yeah, really interesting. My takeaway is Saturday night, the Colorado Avalanche were in Edmonton to play the Oilers. Avs plus money. This game had so much potential to be a phenomenal game that I didn't even bet it. And you guys know me. I'm a degenerate if there ever was one. I bet everything, and I didn't even bet it because I just wanted to enjoy it. I had no idea who was going to win this game. Colorado plus money is tempting, but I had no idea. Now, I did end up betting Colorado before overtime because I figured that they were rolling. They had the momentum that they would get it done, and they ultimately did. But my takeaway was this. I would love to see Winnipeg make a run. I would love to see Vancouver make a run. I would even love to see something crazy like Nashville make a run. I think that would be a lot of fun. But if Colorado and Edmonton is the conference final, I will be stoked. Like that game had playoffs written all over it. Andre, we were talking about this pre-show. What a fun game, man. And for it to go all the way to 0.5 seconds left in overtime, Lehkonen getting that final goal. Like, just unbelievable hockey game, unbelievable finish. And if that's our conference final, man, I'm all about it. Also, something that I feel irresponsible for not knowing this and not mentioning it on our show. 6 of the last 7 regular season contests between these two have gone to overtime. If I remember that correctly from the broadcast on Saturday, that is a stat that I wish I knew because that is crazy. But yeah, phenomenal hockey game. Would love to see those two make it to the finals. Obviously, there's, like I just said, there are other teams that I would love to see make a run, but if those two end up being the two that make it to the Final Four, that's fine by me.
Yeah, I would love that. Like I said, yeah, the speed of that game, the talent on display, start to finish, unreal. And I wish our teams could do that. You know, it would be nice if we could see that happening locally. But it is what it is.
Might have to bet some overs if that series ends up playing out.
Oh, big time.
Oh, man. I can't even think about betting playoffs right now, dude. That's just a total crapshoot. But I'll tell you what, talking about wishing that our teams would do that, before we get to our bad beats from the weekend, thank God the Leafs were up 3-0 against Carolina. Hour before that game, the Colorado Edmonton game. Thank God for cash outs, because when the Leafs were up 3-0, I got to cash out for a little bit less than the payout, but not a lot less. It was like a few bucks. It was like right there. So I cashed it out, and the Leafs promptly give up the 3-0 lead, losing overtime. So avoided my team being a bad beat. So thank you, God, for that. And let's get right into it, boys. I think we all had a pretty profitable weekend. Some pretty good games. I don't want to say easy, because the NHL, like every sport, like anything can happen. But the Blues against the Ducks yesterday, -1.5, that's a layup. Jets -1.5 yesterday against the Blue Jackets, that was a layup. The over in Ottawa, Carolina, layup. Over in Rangers, Islanders, layup. Layups all over the place. But I'm pretty sure we had some bad beats too. So, John, let's start with you, man. What was your bad beat on this weekend?
Well, Friday wasn't a very good slate for me in general, but I think one particular game stands out there, and that's Jets Ducks, going way back to Friday nights.
Oh, yeah.
So that game, I tried to play that.
Did it happen again?
It happened. Yeah. John's having some Wi-Fi problems this morning, but I can finish each other's sandwiches right here. He is saying that he bet the 5.5 under. And not only did the Jets cover the overall by themselves, they scored that 6th goal on the power play, I think, with what, like 20 seconds left or something like that?
There wasn't time left.
Dude, to score a power play goal to make it 6-0 at the very end of the game, like, that's just an arrogant bad beat. Like, that's like a next level. Sorry, John, you back now, bro? I figured I knew where you were going.
My Wi-Fi is having some issues today, but I'm sure you guys finished what I was saying very eloquently. It was a heartbreaking bad beat, which I'm sure you guys pretty much summed up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
6 seconds left. You were so close to glory.
Oh,
And then
was it 6? Ooh.
one team decided 5 goals wasn't enough.
I didn't realize there was that little time left. I knew it was very late in the game. They got the 6th goal.
Oh yeah, 6 seconds left.
Wow.
Yeah, that was just the ultimate FU. Like, we're on a power play. We're just going to kill you. It was brutal.
This is what I get for being afraid of the 2.5.
I mean, I ended up jumping on the -2.5, but it was also kind of like degenerate chasing because our Kings Blackhawk takes were killed within like 10 minutes. So I was like, well, I gotta have some option tonight, so I might as well. Hilarious. Andre, what about you, man? What's your bad beat this weekend?
Yeah, kind of pretty good weekend, I must say. But if I had to lean toward a bad beat, I would say the Blackhawks scoring that goal also late. I think Bedard scored with less than a second left. 7th goal of the game, 5-2 win for them over the Sharks. And if you took that over, or if you took that under 6 and that under 6.5, it cost you some money because, again, just like the Jets game on Friday, you were right there. You were at the finish line. You had it locked in, and then it just got snatched away from you at the last second, literally. It was an empty netter. It was passed to Bedard, too. It was like, I don't remember who it was that got to the puck. Got it, passed to him. Bedard slapped it in, not even like a softie. Like, he wanted the goal. It snuck in there with just a little bit of time left. 4-2 becomes 5-2. Unders are shattered everywhere if you take it at 6 or 6.5. So that, for me, was the bad beat of the weekend.
Yeah, 100%. Man, I'm trying to look at a bad beat. Like I said, I cashed out that Leafs game to avoid a bad beat there. I think I'll go to, was it Saturday? Yeah, Senators Islanders on Saturday. This is going to be a very generic bad beat, okay? Ottawa, I mean, I picked the Islanders to win that game. I picked them by -1.5. It was never really in play. The Islanders were never in the lead by more than 1 goal. But you know what? I lost to the Senators, so it's just a bad beat. Whenever the Senators beat you, it's a bad beat. It doesn't need to get any more complicated than that. This team, man, they're just the bane of my existence. Ever since I went to their minor team, the Belleville Senators, ever since I went to that game, these guys have just been screwing me left, right, and center. So I don't really know what I did to them besides give them my hard-earned money. But, you know, what can you do? All right, let's move right on. 2 games in the NHL tonight. Before we do, as John alluded to, we will quickly update you in the standings. The first game, Washington Capitals are in Calgary. Like John said, they have 73 points. Detroit and Tampa Bay are in the second and first wildcard spot with 74 and 78 points, respectively. The Philadelphia Flyers are third in the Met with 76 points. Washington and the Islanders, both with 73 points. Pittsburgh and Buffalo, both with 69. And New Jersey Devils hanging on in the race with 68 points. Both Washington and Buffalo playing tonight. In the West, Nashville, 82 points. This Nashville team, man, 82 points. Vegas was 79. Those are your two wild card spots in the West. St. Louis, 75 points. Huge win over Minnesota in overtime or in the shootout on Saturday, by the way. Minnesota, 74 points. Calgary and Seattle, the two West Coast teams playing tonight with 71 and 68 points, respectively. Looking pretty much done, especially for Seattle, but still hanging on in the West. Worth it to mention the Los Angeles Kings and the Golden Knights tied with 79 points. So they're flip-flopping between second wild card and third in the Pacific. And like we love to highlight here, Winnipeg, Colorado, Dallas, three teams in the Central, all with 91 points. Just phenomenal. And whoever doesn't win the division, that is a tough first round. All right, let's get into it. Washington in Calgary. Washington plus 114 favorites or underdogs, sorry, on the road. Minus 135 favorites are the Calgary Flames at home. Minus 1.5 on the Flame side. Plus 170. Plus 1.5 on the Capital side is minus 205. The over is 6 at minus 115. And the under is minus 105. John, let's start with you, man. What do you see in the game tonight between Washington in Calgary?
Is this the night Washington makes our worst fears come true? That's the question I have going into it. By the way, to our audience, I don't mean to imply that we hate the Capitals. I think it's just like they've just been a thing all year for us. They continue to defy us, so they're not making us look good at the moment. I think that's more it.
Well, listen, John, sorry to cut you off. Just real quickly, dude. It makes no difference to me. Okay, I have some friends in Virginia. They're Washington fans. It's very nice. Good for them. You know what? I want to be entertained in the playoffs. And Washington is not entertaining. They're not fun. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, as a hockey fan, I just want to have fun. And they're not that. So that's where I'm at. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm glad you touched on that because I think that's exactly how I feel. I'll make it clear. I do not hate the Capitals. I just don't think they have a lot of potential if they make the playoffs. It's more it. Getting back to this game, I think this is an interesting test for Washington because Calgary is a very similar type of team. Like neither team is the most high scoring, whereas both kind of lean on their goaltending a little bit, in my opinion. So, and neither team has a great power play either. So I'd expect this to be a grind defensive type of game. An underplay, I think, would be very tempting here for that reason.
This guy.
Down goes Fraser. Oh, man.
Andre, take it over, bro. When John comes back, we'll give him back the floor. Go ahead.
Not here. I'm going to sass him a little bit and say, don't speak for me. I don't care if it's implied I hate the Capitals. Let him have it. I don't care. But he was going to say he really likes the under 6 here at minus 105. And I agree. John, welcome back. I'll let you finish since I didn't get anywhere into what you were going to say about the under.
Yeah, I apologize, guys. The Wi-Fi is just really not great today. I think
it happens.
a couple of the show. Bro. Technical difficulties.
If you remember, John, my computer literally crashed and I exited the chat completely for like 15 minutes on Friday. So don't worry about it, man. You're fine.
I guess today's just my turn.
Yeah.
I think before my Wi-Fi interrupted us, I was talking about the under. I do like that in this game, but since we only have 2 games today, I'll try to pick a side here. I think this is a tough game to pick because I do think these two teams are somewhat similar with their style of play, but I'm strangely leaning Washington here. My gut says they're going to be in the playoffs for at least one day in this whole thing. And they actually have been doing pretty well on the West Coast, though. I mean, They beat Vancouver the other day, and they beat Seattle a few days before that. So I'm strangely feeling like the Capitals have the right momentum going into this, and at plus money, I'm a little tempted to pick them here. I just think they're playing well, and they're getting so close to the cookie jar that I think they're going to get their hand in there for at least a day.
Yeah. I think I'm right there with you. I got to think about it for another second. Andre, go ahead, bro. What do you see in this game tonight?
What I see, two teams that have been defending and goaltending well. Washington, we talked about 2 wins on the West Coast, both of them 2-1. One of them against Vancouver, very impressive. Kudos to them for getting those 2 points, big win. Calgary at home. This is the last game, of a 4-game homestand, and they've won their last 2. Held Vegas to 1 goal, held the Canadiens to 2 goals. That's why I like the under. Both teams are goaltending well. Just looking at this season, Calgary's 30th in power play, Washington 31st in shots per game and 29th in goals per game. You shouldn't expect much offense. The difference for me is that Calgary has 9 goals in the last 2 games. Calgary is home yet again. Calgary has the more reliable offense. So even though I think it's going to be a lower scoring game, I think that the Flames are going to come out on top. And rewind all the way back to October. These teams did end up in a shootout. The Capitals won at 3-2 at home, but it was a tight game. Obviously, the roster's a bit different now, but I don't think this one. I think this one's also tight. I think that home ice makes an advantage again, though. So I'm going to take Calgary's 60-minute line at plus 105, and I'm going to take the under 6 like John at that minus 105.
Yeah, strange vibes on a Monday because I'm backing John here. I think Washington comes out and wins this game as well. And I also like the under, though. I'm with both of you guys on that. Washington's last 4 wins have all gone under the 6.5. I know it's 6 tonight, but the last 4 wins for Washington have gone under 6.5. And if you want to know, which we've talked about on this show many times over the course of this season, how in the world are Washington Capitals relevant in the playoff mix 1 night away from making it into the playoffs, even if just for a moment, and are minus 30 on the season? This is how. When they win, it's usually under, and when they lose, they get blown out. That's how this works. So for me, I like to follow that trend of the last 4 wins. If the under doesn't hit, I do believe it's because of what you said, Andre, that Calgary's scoring a lot of goals right now, 9 goals in the last 2 games, like you said. So I do like that. Side note, Alexander Ovechkin, if he scores tonight, he will reach the 20-goal mark for the 19th straight season. Now, it's a little bit underwhelming just because he's chasing Gretzky. We expected more of an offensive output from him. However, I don't have 19 straight years of 20 goals in the NHL. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty crazy. For him to score tonight is plus 160. On the Calgary side, Sharangovich, 3 goals in his last 5 games. He is plus 205 to score tonight. Nazem Kadri, always a threat to score. He's plus 160. So that's what I like on the goal scoring props. But I like Washington and I like the under.
Mark, real quick before you hit up the next game, I forgot to mention that I really like Capitals under 2.5 team goals, win or loss. Obviously, we just said when they win, it's like 2-1. It's their last 2 games. When they lose, they're still not scoring that much. The 2 games before that were losses, 2 goals in Edmonton, none in Winnipeg. One of the lowest scoring teams in the league. The Flames are defending pretty well these days. They're 4th in PK. I think win or lose, the Capitals don't score more than 2 goals. So I just want to throw that out there before I forgot.
No, I don't hate that at all. Moving on to Buffalo Sabres, the new team of Pucks Across Borders, or at least of me. I don't know. I will say though, when they lost 4-1 to Detroit, they had moments in that game where they played well, but they also had moments where, like, I can't believe that I actually invested in this team's playoff future. But hey, what can you do? Buffalo, hope that you got, if you like Buffalo to win, I hope you got on that plus money train last night, because it is now minus 102. Kraken minus 118 at home. Minus 1.5 on the Seattle side is plus 190, plus 1.5 on the Buffalo side, minus 230. The over 5.5 at minus 12. The under minus 108. Andre, we'll go to you first here, bro. What do you think about this game tonight?
I think this is a massive game out of nowhere, so that needs to get out the way first. Neither team can really afford to lose, but obviously somebody has to. So I don't know. Will it be the Sabres, who I think are playing well, even after Saturday's loss, trending in the right direction? They've been better on the road this season, at least looking at points percentage. Not that I don't know how much stock you take into that, but that's where they've kind of climbed in the standings a bit. Or will it be the Kraken, who have a 4-game losing streak? And I think I just kind of answered my own question here. I know the Sabres dropped that game in Detroit, but they had a 3-game winning streak before that, including the Oilers, including the Red Wings, and then capped by the Islanders. Only the Oilers game was by 1 goal. The Oilers are a playoff team. That's a good win. A little bit before that, they had the Vegas, Tampa, Carolina stretch of wins, with the only loss, 1-goal loss in Florida. The Sabres team is playing good hockey. This Kraken team is not. They 1 goal against Nashville on Saturday, 1 goal against Washington on last Thursday, shut out by Winnipeg on March 8th. That was 4 games ago at this point. Really, their OT loss in Vegas is the only thing you can look at and be like, okay, maybe they have a chance. But this homestand is 0-4 right now. They have to finish it off with a win. And I think they do, despite the fact that I think the Sabres are playing better. There's no way they go 0-5 on this homestand, right? Like, I just can't believe that. It's really that simple for me. I'm taking this Kraken minus 118 here.
Wow. I think there is a way. And I think Buffalo does win this game tonight. I think, to me, I mean, like you said, like, you made points in favor of both sides here. I think, don't underestimate the fact that on Saturday, that Detroit team was desperate. I believe they lost 7 in a row at that point, at least 6, but I think 7 in a row at that point. That Detroit team needed a save. They needed a win. They needed everything that game had to offer them. And they went out and they got it. Buffalo has been on this improbable run since the All-Star break. They've been playing really good hockey. Like you said, 3-game winning streak before losing to Detroit on Saturday. And I just think the Seattle team's just done. I think that loss, they were already on a losing streak. That loss against Vegas that we broke down live here, Andre, I think that game, I think they're just done. It's been hopeful ride to get back to where they were last year. but I think that loss just broke them, and I think it's done. And I like Buffalo to win minus 102. If you want to get crazy with the 60-minute line at plus 165, you have my blessing, but I think minus 102 is good enough for me. The over, I do lean under here at 5.5, minus 108. But I don't know. I don't feel really strongly about it one way or the other. But I do like Buffalo at minus 102. John, let's wrap it up with you, man. What do you see in this game tonight?
It's weird because like a lot of the points you mentioned, I agree with, but I don't agree with the pick. Like I'm with Andre and picking Seattle here, but I agree with a lot of your points about this game. Like for in the grand scheme of things, I do agree Seattle's done. And
I'm really glad that his Wi-Fi dropped out because I get uncomfortable when anyone disagrees with me, so my pride can't handle it. What I will say to continue to add to my point now that John's Wi-Fi conked out is in the last 4 games, this losing streak, Seattle has scored 1 goal, 4 goals, and 0 goals. And Buffalo's goaltending, Saturday aside, has been phenomenal. So that's another reason why I think John's wrong. Now that he's back, what's up, John? Finish your thought.
My Wi-Fi is having a Monday.
No, you're good, dude.
Hopefully it holds up for the second half of this monologue here. The reason why I kind of like Seattle is because I don't know. I thought Saturday's game is very telling with the Sabres. It's just sticking to me. But I think tonight's game is going to be the defining moment for the team in one way or the other. Because if the Sabres do end up winning this game tonight, then Mark's right. They just ran into a desperate Detroit team on Saturday. But if Seattle ends up pulling this game out, I think it says to me that Buffalo already hit their peak and that they might be due for a downward slope. I mean, they were playing very, very well going into the weekend. I mean, it may be an unrealistic pace to keep up for the rest of the year. That's what concerns me. And also going all the way to Seattle now. Seattle tends to play a little better at home. They're running into a decent goaltending team as well. The over-under is kind of tough for me here. I'm a little surprised it's that low, but looking at it more, I kind of get it now. Both teams are stronger in goaltending than they are scoring, I would say. I don't know. I just get the gut feeling Buffalo hit their peak. And I don't want to say they're done yet. It could have. I want to see how tonight plays out to say for sure. But I think if they lose tonight, I'm ready to write them off again. I do think they need to win that bad.
Listen, John, don't come asking me for a handout when my Buffalo make the playoffs bet hits, okay? You're on your own. I'm here to help my friends financially. If I'm able to, I'll do it, but not you with that attitude. No, I understand it for sure, and I think, it's the Seattle goal scoring lately that is what's been really concerning to me. But both of you make excellent points. And with that, 2 games. That's it. But don't worry. Tomorrow, what do we got? Let me just make sure I got this right. 13 games tomorrow. So a nice short show. Get some extra stuff done this morning because tomorrow we got 13 games to break down on Tuesday. Let's go right in now to our best bets, brought to you by none other than First Round Collectibles. With our promo code Sports Addict, you get 10% off of whatever sports card your heart desires. Hockey, football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, boxing, whatever you want, you can get it at firstroundcollectibles.com. They still have sales items up to 50% off. And with our promo code, you get 10% off of sale items and regular priced items as well. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com today using promo code SportsAddict for 10% off and find your heroes. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. All right. It's a Monday. We're almost done. All right. Best bets. John, let's go right back to you, man. What is your best bet on a Monday?
I'm leaning towards the Capitals Flames under because of what we talked about before. Both teams are strong goaltending wise. Both have terrible power play statistics. Washington particularly bad scoring. When they win in low scoring games. I just have a feeling that this trend is going to continue for Washington. We talked about it before. They've been winning like 2-1 games on the West Coast so far. I'm not saying that exact score will come again tonight, but like I do think the way these two teams play and the way Washington's playing in general right now, I could see this being another low-scoring win for them. I feel a little bit better about the under than I do their money line, so I'm going to roll with the Capitals Flames under as my best bet.
Andre, what about you, bro? What's your best bet on this Monday night?
Yeah, just like Friday, me and John are kind of tango in here. He's taking the under, and I'm going to take a team under from the same game. Capitals under 2.5 team goals. Win or lose, this is in the club that's scoring. The Flames have been defending, goaltending well lately. I know Markstrom, he was questionable last night. I don't know if he's still listed as questionable, but I don't really think it matters because it's Washington. So, yeah, I'm taking the under 2.5 team goals. I'm going to assume that win or lose, they do what they do, or do what they don't do, and that's score goals.
You know what? I love this. This is the night of the unders because the more I think about it, my best bet is under in Buffalo and Seattle. If Seattle wins or if they lose, I don't think it really matters. They haven't been scoring a lot lately. 1, 4, and 0 are the total goals that they have scored over the last 4 games. Buffalo's goaltending has been very good. Seattle's goaltending, when it's on, it is on. It doesn't matter who is in net. Grubauer, Decord, it doesn't matter. Both goaltenders have been very good for the most part this year. Seattle, 8th in goals allowed. Buffalo, 12th in goals allowed. So either way, win or lose for either team, I really like the under 5.5 at -108. Oh, kind of a boring betting night to bet unders in every single aspect of both games. But that's how we see it.
Hey, sometimes that's just where the money is. You got to live with
Right.
it. But for our all unders 3-leg parlay, it is +400. The under 5.5 in the Pacific Northwest is -108. Thank you, Mark. The under 6 on its own in Alberta is -105, courtesy of John. And the Washington Capitals, future Stanley Cup champions, under 2.5 team total goals is +100.
+100. All right. Not the juiciest parlay tonight, but you know what? It's fine. Throwing a little
+400 is not that bad.
+400.
Oh, the 3 together is +400. I should have repeated that part.
Gotcha. Okay. I was like, wait, +100? I don't know. I never I think grade 10 math is the highest that I ever got to, and I think that was even just the teacher being generous. So I didn't want to question your total there, but all right, +400. That's a whole different story. Throw a little OV goal in there too. Make it extra juicy for our boys Milestone. All right, to everybody who watched live and watching later on today, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Andre, John, good job today, boys. But good luck on your bets. We'll be back tomorrow. 13 games to break down tomorrow night. And as always, shout out to Total Apex Sports. Check out everything they got going on throughout the day, college and professional basketball. Sports Addict is the promo code for 10% off at firstconcollectibles.com. We will see you all.